So you're new to spirituality and you want to pick out crystals. You're feeling called to go and get some crystals. This topic is a fun one because I remember I waited a while until I get into the crystals. I wanted to kind of trust my intuition, and for a long time I did not feel called to interact with them. I also think when you're first going through a spiritual awakening, you want to be mindful of how much you take in at once because it can just overwhelm your nervous system. Nothing can really hurt you physically. It could just cause discomfort if you try to speed up the process on things that are naturally unfolding. Okay, back to crystals. So if you want to get into crystals and you're wondering like the best ones to get, like where to look, how to do it, it's pretty simple. I think the capitalistic side of things, patriarchal, like hustle culture tells us like you like everything has to be perfect. You have to over research stuff, and you should learn a little bit, but a lot of leaning into a spiritual awakening is fully trusting your intuition. And this absolutely applies to when you're going to pick out crystals. My favorite way to do it is once in a while, like if I need help with something specific, say I'm looking for like protection, right? You'd go with something like black tourmaline or obsidian, things like that. But if I don't really know what I'm getting and I don't want to be overwhelmed, and I'm not looking up like a specific crystal for a specific reason, I usually will walk around a crystal shop. Hopefully you have one in the neighborhood, and just kind of pick out what calls to you. What calls to you. I know it sounds kind of crazy, but usually a certain crystal or something will just kind of pique your interest. When you pick it up, you'll be able to kind of feel its energy, especially if you've started to go through spiritual awakening. I feel like personally, the higher you vibrate and the deeper you go in, the more and more you will be able to sense energies. It could be a little jarring at first, but you get used to it. It's fine. Life. But anyways, so for example, I am a Pisces and I'm an empath. I can feel everything. And when I was crystal shopping, I picked up, and I have it right here, this cool little yellow crystal. And when I picked it up, I felt all my energy like ground back into my body. Like I felt like I had been almost like floating in the air, and I just came fully back in and felt like myself, which I thought was crazy because I just felt called to pick it up and I felt a huge sensation. Now, this is, I didn't know what it was. It's called honey calcite. It's one of my favorites now, given what it does for me. But it's a crystal of basically like joy and focus and personal power. So it kind of like calls back that power and willpower and gives it back to you. And that I figured out by just trusting myself and looking around. One thing to be super careful of is if any place is trying to sell you crystals for like a ridiculous amount, like I'm talking every crystal in the store is priced like, like, I don't know, I'd say like a little one, it's like more than $50 and it's like all of them, I would be careful. This, for instance, I want to say was probably like $7 and it's like a big chunk. So keep that in mind. Certain ones are going to be pricey, but be careful, be smart.